These great storytellers here. It's a pretty illustrious company, so many celebrities. There's some incredible illustrations here. And I just wanted to point out, just because these folks are young, they're young writers, and I don't think anybody is quite as tall as I am, these are not babies. This is not a baby competition. This is an adult, young writers, serious competition. So you can be really proud of everything that you do, because we are so proud of you. So I want to start out with some of our kindergartners. And when you come up here, I'd ask you to just hang out for a minute, because you know how parents and grandparents are. They love to have pictures. And we want to take a picture, John and I, with you, because you're so special. So if you just kind of pause here, John will give you your award and your goodie bag. And John, you want to mention what's in the, we've got a goodie bag there you can show. It's right next to you. One of our young writers, we're going to send this to her home. She couldn't be here tonight. But this is what all those people we thanked before, the folks at Comcast and the employees that work, they give you all kinds of goodies.
Well, there's an iPod, and there's a trophy, and there's certificates, and books, and DVDs, ice cream, and a Kindle. A Kindle, everybody know what a Kindle is? No. I don't know, what's a Kindle?
It's something you read on, that's right. So you can keep reading, and maybe your stories will be on the Kindle. So we're going to give everybody a goodie bag and the trophy, but mostly we're just proud of everything that you did. So let me talk a little bit about the kindergartners, okay? I want to share a little bit about these stories. There's a story called the Ice Rink Story. And this is a story about learning to laugh at yourself when things don't go exactly the way you had planned. And you might even get a face full of snow, but you manage to laugh at yourself. And it even involves a sister. So this, I won't give away the ending because I know some of you will want to read it. Livia Marie Brochu from Williston. Livia, where are you? Come on up. So you can listen. John's got your trophy. There you go. You gotta smile real big. Everybody get all their pictures? All right, congratulations. You gotta finish eating your pizza when we get to you. And speaking of pizza, the other award winners in this category have written about eating habits. I think I alluded to this earlier. There's a great story called No Snack for Sam. It's obviously part of a series because it's a Sam and Sally Shark story. So there must be a second one in the works. And I happen to know that the parents of this author were very instrumental in helping this one come to fruition. It's an interesting story. It involves some lovely photographs. And I think it was inspired by some time in the bathtub, I heard. And a family that does scuba dive. So real life inspired this story. But the scuba diver is on the menu in this story. And it's kind of a dramatic story, and these two sharks, and you wonder, does the scuba diver get eaten or not? You'll have to read it and find out. And that's from Brody McGuire from Virgins. Brody, come on up, Brody. There he is. There's my friend. Hey, Brody. Congratulations. John, I want to give you your... So if you can turn around and show off your dragon face, you can come over next to John here. Good job, man. Thanks, Brody. And then we've got another story that involves eating. Well, who doesn't like eating stories? This is I think of this as a circle of life type story, you know. It's called Best Friends Eat Their Vegetables, or I'm sorry, Eat Their Veggies. And, you know, if you thought that eagles and cats were carnivores or omnivores, guess again. It's about creatures that can change their eating habits. And I know this is inspired by the whole family and people being supportive of each other. So it's a pretty terrific story. And this story is by Kira Kegelman from Heartland. Come on up, Kira. And Kira's going to go on and represent us nationally. So Kira, come up here. Give us your best celebrity smile. to hold that award up, will you? There you go. Thank you. This is what it's like, the paparazzi. Good job, Kira. Thank you. Thank you, Kira. Now, the first graders, really, I don't know if it's a theme or what, but they all are journeys to wonderful new worlds, and I was struck by that. I want to mention Clara Hopkins from Brandon couldn't be here tonight. We're going to send her goodie bag and her trophy, but she doesn't get to have any ice cream cake, but she does get some ice cream coupons like you do, so she's not missing it all. But she wrote about Melissa, the color pillar. And this is quite an interesting story, and maybe you've seen her up on the monitor. How many of you have ever heard of a color pillar? No? How about a caterpillar? Anybody heard of a caterpillar? Yeah. Well, this is a special caterpillar, and it crawls along and leaves kind of a colorful residue, which is good because there's this land called No Happy Face Land. Doesn't sound very good. And guess what? The trail is made of candy. So it's a pretty good story. You're going to want to look for that one in your bookstore. And then there's another story that involves a new world, and it's a world here, and it's called Kitty World, and it's my day in Kitty World. And the protagonist, or the main character, is a 10-year-old named Alice. And she's a cat. She has lots of brothers and sisters. They have some of the prettiest dresses, I think I told her, that I've ever seen on a cat. I mean, they're just gorgeous dresses. And they go to a candy shop, and what kind of candy do you suppose they get there? What kind of candy do you like? Caramel, chocolate, what else?
Gummy worms.
Gummy worms? Well, this cat actually eats tuna lollipops. But it's a cat. So, and they also eat, guess what? Mice pancakes. Nice, huh? It's not, obviously this cat is not a vegetarian. But Madeline Thaxton from East Thetford is the author of this story. So Madeline, come on up. My Day in Kitty World. Can you turn around? There you go. Give us your best meow meow smile. All right. Everybody getting the pictures? Thank you. And then another magic world that I thought was pretty cool, and you might guess the magic world. It's about a flying pencil, and it's called the Flying Pencil. Now this pencil is seems like a pretty ordinary pencil. Really enjoys doing math. Works with a friend named Tom. Tom comes home from school, has to do a lot of math. But when the math is done, the pencil is put aside. He's tired, he's napping. Math is hard. How many of you think math is hard? How many of you think math is easy? How many of you have a pencil that helps you with your math? All right, you can relate to the story. Well, this pencil is tired and he falls asleep and he wishes he could fly. Who would like to fly? I mean, I would.
I like to fly.
Yeah, so you would fly this morning. Excellent. Well, this pencil doesn't think he's ever going to get a chance, but Tom is a pretty good friend, and he has a grandpa who likes to whittle. Do any of you have really creative grandmas or grandpas that do pretty cool stuff? Yeah. My mom, she's a grandma, she does paper folding, origami. They're pretty cool. So he whittles some wings, and what happens after that, you can only imagine. So it's a pencil that can fly. So that's a pretty cool story. And this is by Evan James Thorburn. He's from Heinsberg. And Evan, come on up, buddy. Evan's got a special hat, looking pretty good. And Evan's going to represent us nationally. So everybody get a picture. All right, man. Good job. Folks here. Now the second graders, let me tell you about the themes that emerged in these stories. There's a conflict, I would say, whenever you get some strong personalities together. People that know their own mind and they want their own way. Do you ever have that happen? Well, what about sometimes good friends? You can have a quarrel, or maybe you've got a brother or sister that you really love them, but they drive you a little bit crazy. Yeah, we've all been there. Yeah. So there's a story called Bobby, and this is about some interpersonal relationships, and Bobby is the youngest. How many of you are the youngest brother or sister in your family? How many of you are the oldest brother or sister in your family? That's me. How many are one of the middle brothers or sisters in the family? Okay. Well, there you go. So you know, it's trouble no matter where you are, right? So anyway, Bobby is picked on by a little bit by an older brother, and so he's kind of worried because he's going to be going to pre-K, and he doesn't know what he's in for. But he meets somebody that makes it very special, and he gives it a chance, and he gives it a try, and he has a pretty good time. And it's a pretty exciting story. And this story comes to us from Molly Wilson from Wolcott. So Molly, come on up. There she is. Molly, your butterfly looks beautiful. It matches your dress. You look so magical. All right, we gotta wait for the paparazzi. This is what it's like to be on the red carpet. All right, good job. Thank you, Molly. Now, this next story also has some strong and interesting characters. It's called Patty the Fish and Dribbler the Duck. And what I like is it starts out kind of that way, Patty the Fish and Dribbler the Duck. Please try to remember. I will not quiz you, but it kind of makes it clear. Dribbler also has a flying car. That's kind of mentioned as an aside. Dribbler's pretty fantastic, though, because he's built a small cabin out of 10 trees. So you can imagine, only 10 trees is pretty small. But, man, he's got a flying car and he built a cabin. Now, Patty seems to be a driver as well. He drives a Chevy Traverse. But Patty does not actually know how to drive. How many of you have your driver's license? I asked to some of you. Do any of you have your driver's license? Has anybody been driving lately? Anybody? Anybody? Driving your bike, maybe? Driving a tractor? Okay. Well, so Patty kind of gets into some trouble. It's known as he's getting into a pickle or pickles. So they have to go to China. I didn't know this, but in China, animals have pretty free access to cars. So they go over there so that Patty can learn to drive. But I'm not sure if Patty really learns to drive or not. I don't want to give it away. Again, it's a pretty exciting finish. This is from Aiden Gage in Randolph. Aiden, where are you? There you are. Now, Aiden, come and be in the picture zone. Now, give us your best author smile. Good job. We were talking about whether this might be a trilogy or 3. We don't know if Aiden says he might have some other stories in mind, so we hope so. Then another, which is kind of got some strong characters in it, and I would think of it as an origin story. And an origin story means the beginning of something, how something started or originated. And this is Marzu the Moose, how Marzu the Moose got his antlers. Oops. Has anybody ever seen a moose in real life? Anybody seen a moose? Your aunt saw one? Okay. You remembered you have seen one? A moose on Munger Street. That could be a sequel, I think. Well, I haven't seen a moose in a long time, but I have seen a moose, and he had antlers. Has anybody ever seen a moose without antlers? A baby one. There you go. Good call. Well, this is how a moose got his antlers. And you may remember him from last year. He is well known for his previous work. It was called Taddy the Tadpole. So he's well versed in animal life, amphibians. Now he's moving into the world of mammals. So if you enjoyed Taddy the Tadpole, I think you're going to really like this story about the moose. It's got a crocodile in it. He's not a real nice crocodile. He's a little bit haughty. He's a little bit of a bully. He's challenging him to a duel. He doesn't even have a cool sword like some of you do. And he says that he's weak as an unsharpened pencil. And this is a pencil without any wings. So you can tell there's trouble afoot. But thanks to a couple of sticky pine branches, the moose comes out a little bit ahead. I won't give away the ending, but it's a pretty strong story. I think you're going to enjoy it. And it's written by our own Harry Kim from Manchester Center, and he's going to represent us nationally. Here he comes. And Harry couldn't come last year, so this is pretty exciting. So Harry, you got lots of paparazzi here, so give us that award-winning smile. We gotta wait a minute, the paparazzi jammed. Look out over this pretty lady right here. All right, thank you, Harry. All right, you can see there's some pretty exciting stuff here. You got your summer reading list right now. Now, our third graders are all veteran authors, so they are not new to this. I think you're going to remember from Her Little Husky Flies a Plane. Yeah, well this year she's back with George the Puppy Writes a Story. So I see a theme here. It's somebody that I think knows dogs, knows her métier, knows her area of subject, and she's written another strong story about dogs. And this one involves friendship and forgiveness, and it seems almost like an ABC or a PBS children's special because it involves the PBS Pups Writers Contest. George and Harriet, they're best friends. You know, things don't always turn out the way you think, but they become rivals. There's a little bit of sadness, but there's also some forgiveness, and there's a lot of celebration at the end. You know her, you love her, it's Faith Holzheimer from Orwell. Faith. All right, congratulations. Thank you. All right. Now, this is a returning author as well. I think you may have enjoyed Una's April Fool's Day. Una, I'm sorry, that's right. I got it wrong last year too. Una, because she was a unicorn. How I could have forgotten that, and you've even wearing a unicorn again. Well, this year she's back with a really exciting story with another dramatic theme. This one is called Lights, Camera, Pony. And you can imagine, it's kind of a backstage story. Snowy gets a chance at fame under the bright lights. She's going to be chosen as a singing narrator. Mrs. Morgenhorst has got a musical cooked up for her class. But she's got a bossy big brother. Anybody have a bossy big brother? Anybody have a bossy big sister? Yeah, well, there you go. Sometimes they can be in trouble. Well, Cloud gets the coveted role, and he thinks his sister's not going to do well. He's going to be the cowboy. You don't know what's going to happen. Will she be able to do it? Will Cloud be able to do it? You're going to have to wait and find out. It's a very, very dramatic story. And so I want you to meet the author, Joy Holzheimer, also from Orwell. Here she comes. Everybody ready? All right, congratulations. Okay, now this next author has written many, many stories, and she never made it into the limelight, which isn't to say her stories weren't fantastic, but it was the fourth time, and she thought, am I ever going to get to see the fruits of my labor recognized by the critics, recognized by the judges? Well, this year she did. And I think she writes stories from real life experiences. This one's called A Special Lantern Festival of Montreal. And it's a pretty exciting adventure story too. Even though it's a real story, it involves a very exciting trip, staying in a fancy hotel. How many of you have ever stayed in a fancy hotel or a motel or a camp? Very cool. So that in itself seems like a good experience. But what about taking a subway ride or a train ride or anything? That would be very cool. And then going to a beautiful botanical garden where there are glowing red lights, where there's dragons and monkey kings and all kinds of exotic animals like cranes and phoenix, and just beautiful. And it's not even an imaginary world, it's a real world. Well, that's the story of the Special Lantern Festival of Montreal. And this author concluded her story by saying, I really felt it was a magical place, and her drawings will transport you to a magical place. It's a really beautiful story. So I want to welcome Jasmine Townsend Ing from Charlotte. Yes, and Jasmine's going to represent us in a TV interview tomorrow. So you got to get your smile down, get your poise down. Well, it remains to be seen. It's the artist's choice. What do you think? You're gonna have your face painted tomorrow?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. All right. Anything you want to practice?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. Congratulations. So Jasmine is also going to represent us nationally. So you can see just an incredible array of stories. So as I said, your summer reading list is cut out for you. You'll see we've just started the production on the stories. All of the stories will be on our website, vpt.org. We will be putting our photos that we shot today up as well. Give us a couple of days, but we'll let you know so you can see everything. Please go and check out one of the story times. And I also wanted to let you know we have lots of cool kids programs coming up. We've got some new kids movies. We will have a Halloween party. Did any of you come to the Halloween party this last year? It's a really fun party. I came. If you like to come in costume and have a great time, we're going to be having our Halloween party the weekend before Halloween. So we encourage you to come. Tell all your friends. You want to? All right, sweet. The brown recluse says he's coming. So that's the kind of action I like to hear from the Batman. So we hope you come. We're so proud of all of you and all your families. I hope you thank your families for helping you and bringing you here tonight. And thank you for coming and making this event so special. We really appreciate it. John, would you like to say something?
No, other than to say thank you all again. We couldn't do this without you, and it's really the kids that are the stars here, and we just enjoy having you here at VPT. Thank you.
I would be remiss if I didn't say, could I have all the award winners come up and we can maybe get a group picture? You can leave your bags if you want or give them to your entourage, but if you want to bring your trophies, maybe come on up here. We'll get a big picture with everybody. And if anybody wants some pictures with their family, you know, we will